featuring Copeland shared photos of Copeland dressed as a woman and reports that he featured local women as the subjects of an online fiction. Ainsley Summerlin tells us she was shocked to find out her name and photos had been posted online without her permission.
I had some people start sending me photos that were posted of me on multiple porn sites, I guess you could say, that also had pictures of Brittany as well. And he proceeded to use my first and middle name on these sites. And I believe there are about 9 sites now that I have, 5 or 6 photos of my face and my name across the internet.
A local hairstylist in Smith Station did not want to go on camera, but she tells me her name and likeness was used without her knowledge in an online story she believes was written by Copeland.
It said my first and last name, and it was basically describing the way that I look, and then intensified, I guess, as a porn star. And it went into very graphic detail. I didn't get past the first page because I honestly couldn't stomach it.
Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones says the facts and evidence will be given to the Lee County District Attorney, and all the facts will be laid before a grand jury for review.
We're going through our standard process in that investigation. We will gather all the facts available and evidence that we have, and that will be presented to the District Attorney, and a Lee County grand jury will review all of the details of this investigation at a future date.
Welcome back, folks. We've got to talk about the media coverage of what happened to Bubba Copeland. Bubba Copeland is the mayor of Smith Station, a Baptist preacher, a transgender, apparently, or a crossdresser, depending on who you're talking to. A guy who was writing erotic slasher fiction about real people, talking about stealing their businesses, killing them, sleeping with their husbands. An individual who was also talking about using his store security footage and saving it for his private collection. A guy who used minors' images in memes about transitioning and telling them to become the whore you've always wanted to be. A guy who is somewhat of a hero now amongst those in the Alabama media because they have absolutely no scruples. And they're just generally terrible, awful, no good people. Now, this shouldn't surprise you. If you have eyes, you've seen this. But what I love most is when our friends in the media decide to take this to a whole new level. And they decide that it's not the fault of the individual that did the bad thing. It's the fault of the people that pointed it out. And yeah, you can say that Bubba Copeland didn't do anything wrong. You can make that argument if you want. It's a rather weird one to make, but it's one you could make. He's a victim. He was shamed. He didn't do anything wrong that we know of. But as all the stuff I just rattled off to you, we know. And it's all newsworthy. And this bullshit that you're hearing from some of the media, well, you should have led with that. As if anything that happened after the first story that exposes cross-dressing didn't matter. As if they've never worked in a newsroom before where they don't know that once a story comes out, more people are going to come forward and talk about that story, pretending that they don't understand. And look, if they want to scream, I'm stupid, I don't understand how things work, I'll say, okay, I believe you. I've seen the job you do. People literally don't hate you as much as they should. But you're trying, and by golly, you're going to get there. I'll tell you what. So let's start with some of the biggest scumbags in Alabama media. Bill Britt, Josh Moon, the other losers at the Alabama Political Reporter. An organization built up under one premise and one premise only. Politicians are so stupid and cowardly, they cannot take any criticism. So if you tell them that you won't criticize them, maybe you buy an ad or so. Yeah, maybe that'll work out pretty well for you. I'm not saying it's pay for play, but there's been some allegations here or there. But now they're coming out and saying that the media must scrutinize power, not police morality. which is a damn interesting position for the absolute imbeciles that work at the Alabama Political Reporter to make, especially when they have a history of doing the exact opposite. Now, in this little article here, where they're trying to grind out some clicks and be part of the story, they try to take the position that they're defending Bubba Copeland, but they're not. In an article Josh Moon scribbled out later in the day, he talks about how it's just very unfortunate all these whispers of this other stuff didn't come out first, and that he should have led with that. Again, pretending he doesn't understand how any of this works, and that allegations lead to more allegations, and reporting leads to more reporting. But again, we're going to pretend Josh Moon doesn't understand that. And here's the beautiful thing. Josh Moon considers himself a reporter, but he also considers himself a smart person. So what should we take from that? He's a fraud, just like Bill Britt. And the sad thing about Josh Moon in this situation is he's just dining off the scraps of what Bill Britt and his wife make. Go watch her show on the weekend. And you got to wonder to yourself, why am I doing this? Are they going to make it through this show? Are they still living in the basement or the home of the AEA leader when they were in his pocket? Who's paying them now? Well, we know. It's whoever they're giving good coverage to. That's who's paying them. That's how it is alleged their business has worked this entire time. But I will give him credit. Bill Britt mentioned me in this article, and then I get this. A death threat on my family. Now, I don't think this is Bill Britt's fault, but if I want to play the dumb game and be a dumb person, can't I say, Bill Britt criticized me, and then this happened, therefore Bill Britt caused this. Now, Bill Britt didn't actually cause anything because Bill Britt has almost no stroke. Okay? Never mind, I'm not going to say it. But he has no stroke. So, no, I don't think he actually caused this. So, I will say that. He's a pathetic loser, and he did this under his own rules. But I don't believe it, so I'm just kind of being facetious here. But remember, go back to their premise. We need to scrutinize power, not police morality. Well, wouldn't you know it? These guys all of a sudden have changed their position because these schmucks love trying to police morality. It's time for John Merrill to resign. Why? Because he had an extramarital affair. And it was weird. And I talked about it, and I mocked him, and I have absolutely no problem with him bringing it up. But again, I'm not being a fraud now in pretending I never did that. What did his extramarital affair have to do with his job as Secretary of State? Answer, nothing. How are they scrutinizing power here? Look at the byline. It's Bill Britt. So we're scrutinizing power, are we? Okay. How about this? Patricia Todd, state's first openly gay lawmaker, insinuates Governor Kay Ivey may be gay. A favorite of the left in Alabama. They love to imply that Governor Kay Ivey is gay, but being gay is good. Unless Kay Ivey is gay, then being gay is bad and should be mocked. You'll notice missing from the geniuses at the Alabama Political Reporter and their below minimum wage scribes is anything close to a takedown of Patricia Todd for suggesting that the governor may be gay. Will someone out her, for God's sake? I have heard for years that she is gay. Moved her girlfriend out of the house when she became governor. I am sick of closeted elected officials. And they blast that out, and they don't malign Patricia Todd for that. No. They are fine with that. Scrutinizing power. Okay. All right. I mean, they don't like doxing now. But look at this. APR investigation reveals identity of Prattville Patriot Front leader. Guess what? Good. This is good. This is the stuff they should be doing. Taking people that are hiding things and exposing them. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. Now, I get it. Patriot Front leader, hate unmasked, all that stuff. He's a bad guy. Great. Expose him. Got no problem with that. How is it any different than what Bubba Copeland was doing? He was doing things that were far out of bounds for a mayor and far out of bounds for a preacher. But anyone that exposed him was somehow a jerk. It led to his death. Now, again, Bill Britt and Josh Moon don't believe this. No one at that outlet actually believes this. This is a grind to try to get clicks. This is a grind to try to matter. This is a grind to say, look what we'll do to you. Maybe you should advertise. Now, this isn't the first time they've done this little dance. Let me show you what they did to somebody who was part of the Port Creek Indians. Oh, I can't show you, can I? Because these guys decided what they were going to do was delete a story they had on their website because putting it up would have made them look really stupid if they did something like this. What an absolute shocker. I guess they escaped the scrutiny once again because they were smart enough to delete it. What a bunch of geniuses. Because the last thing they want to do is imply that someone being gay is wrong and put that on their website. They would never do that. That's something those vile monsters at 1819 News might do. Or that Dale Jackson might do at Yellowhammer when he's piling on and saying doxing's okay, which, by the way, nobody said. Nobody was doxed. This guy's a public figure. He was posting this stuff publicly. Slasher erotica about killing people from the mayor, and you're pretending that it's not newsworthy. Then the mayor's wearing a dress, and you're pretending that that's not newsworthy. Good Lord, put it all together. It's a movie. But man, what was this? What happened behind this blocked page? What is it that the folks at the Alabama Political Reporter reported at one point in time and now don't want you to see? What was it? What could it be? What might it be? What might it be? Who knows? Does anybody know? Does anyone have any idea what it could possibly be? What could they possibly be trying to hide? Keeping in mind that these are people of great integrity and character and not pathetic lowlives at all. They are people of great integrity and great character. So when they took their tobacco-stained hands and hammered out on the keyboard and said, delete this page, through wheezes and coughs and sadness and puffs of smoke, delusions of grandeur, what was on that page? Well, luckily the Wayback Machine exists, and because we know. PCI stands by their man. Calls a reporter son of a bitch. Wow, that's something I don't know. Why would you want that deleted? I wonder what's going on in this photo right here below this. Wonder if the rest of that photo is on the Wayback Machine. Oh. Well, there it is. Someone they didn't like with an organization at the time they didn't like. Things seem to have changed. It's almost like something happened. I don't know what it is. Something. What could it possibly be? Has sort of changed their mind on this stuff. But they went and they found this and they put it up on their website. Now, this was years ago. The world's different now, right? Right? Bill Britt, whose byline this is, same guy who has this byline right here, this one. We're not supposed to be policing morality. Is that it? Same guy? You wrote this. You put this up on your website. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I understand how full of shit you are. I'm just trying to figure that out. I want to feel exactly how ridiculous you are down in my core. So when you run stories that you clearly don't believe, that nobody trusts you. So he was at a nightclub with an entertainer who was a drag queen, and he had his shirt off, and he was dancing with them. But why is that relevant other than the fact that you didn't like the Puerto Rican Indians at the time? What does that have to do with anything? And you should go back and read the story. Now, you have to do it on the Wayback Machine because not only are they full of it, they're absolute cowards. So they deleted this because they knew, wait, we're being hypocrites. We have to delete this thing. We're frauds. We're hypocrites. Look at us. We're being exposed as frauds and hypocrites. If we say this, we're frauds and hypocrites. We can't possibly continue to do this and be such frauds and hypocrites. How could we do such things? In the article that you can find at the Wayback Machine, not an Alabama political reporter, because they're cowards and they deleted it, they decided that what they would do is say, well, we only posted this because Republican lawmakers have seen it and it was going to be used in attack ads. So we just went ahead. I mean, they can't even be honest about what they're doing. I mean, that is Bill Britt's MO. And Josh Moon, look, he does what he does, okay? I can't explain it. Nobody can. But at least I think he probably believes what he's saying. I mean, he's not very smart, obviously, but I think he believes what he's saying. So I give him credit for that. And I'd love to have a conversation with him sometime, but every time we've had an interaction on the radio, it hasn't ended well for him. And he was recently asked about talking to me about some other stuff, and he had no interest in doing so. I don't blame him. Why would you walk into a gunfight unarmed? I mean, why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense. He is just not intellectually suited for doing anything other than being Bill Britt's water boy and getting attaboys on social media from people that don't matter. So that's fine. But just know, as they do this, they don't care about personal attacks. They don't care about staying inside the bounds of politics. They don't care about any of this stuff. These people are frauds. The only thing they care about is money. Okay? They don't believe what they're saying. When they write stuff like this, oh, the media must scrutinize, blah, 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 they don't mean that. They don't believe it. They don't even, God, it's hard for them to even say it, I'm sure. But just think about what they're doing here and how they're trying to play this game and how they're trying to manipulate you in this situation. That's the point of all of this. Think about how these people in the media are attempting to manipulate you. They're suggesting that you're the bad guy for caring about this, that the people who pointed it out, they're the bad guys for reporting it. We shouldn't know anything about anybody's personal life. It's not our business. We should not know. There is absolutely no reason for us to know any of these things. There is nothing for us to know here, and nothing at all, folks. They don't mean it. They don't believe it. All they're doing is using a dead body to try to hammer people they don't like politically. That's who they are. They're trash. Trash. And I'll just tell you this. If you find yourself putting money into Bill Britt's pocket, you're trash too. Because this is the kind of stuff they do. You should not be out there trying to police morality. Hey, look at this guy. He's dancing with a drag queen. I don't like him. He's bad. How dare you say bad things about this great man? All he was doing was writing slasher erotica about a real person, her business, which he named, killing her, taking her business, and sleeping with her husband. How dare you trash this good man? Oh, yeah, and he also took minors' pictures and used them in memes about transitioning. Be the whore. Become the whore. Definitely something you want your preacher saying. Now, are you telling me that if one of the leaders at the Church of the Highlands was posting stuff about becoming the whore, that nobody in the media would find that to be newsworthy? Of course they would. Speaking of becoming the whore, no, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say what I need to say here. I think you guys can fill in the blanks here. It's pathetic. It truly is. And these people attempting to malign the folks that work at 1819 News and me, I work at Yellowhammer. I don't even work at 1819 News. I'm defending them because what they did was right. And it's really easy in this situation to come out and be sanctimonious and pretend that you're a good person. We must scrutinize power and not police morality. Which probably becomes a lot easier when you have no morals. That's probably true. But again, that would only be if they actually believed it. Which they don't. And if you don't think that's true, ask yourself this question. Why did they delete this? Why did they delete it? What was the reason? Why did they delete the story? Yeah, okay, thought so. So, there you go. No more needs to be said. I think that's the gist of it. I think the point's been made. And look, if you want to believe what the Alabama Political Reporter writes, that's your... Look, if you want to be uninformed. That's up to you. If you want to be reading things that make absolutely no sense and do nothing but propagate nonsense, go right ahead and do that too. But Bill Britt, and I know you're watching this, why'd you delete it? That's all I'm asking. And if you want to discuss it on the radio or on TV or in person, why did you delete it? And I guess the bigger point would be, why did you put it up? That you and I both know the answer. We're well aware of what your game is. No, and look, I know the people I've worked with in the past have heard from you, whining and crying. I can't believe you're saying this. Meaning talking about your business model? Yeah, I can't either. But why don't you, for once in your life, pick up the phone and call me. Call my radio show. Come on my TV show. I'll come on your TV show. I'll talk to you on a video. Explain it to me. What makes you think it's okay to publish the garbage you publish and take the sanctimonious positions you take when you know you don't believe any of it? And anyone that knows you don't believe any of it. But there you are doing it again. Must be nice. It must really be nice to know that not having any real morals makes you the perfect person to call other people out for theirs. Unbelievably sad and pathetic, but it's par for the course. And the Alabama media has dropped the ball on this. Eventually, they will be exposed here. The story is not over. They will be exposed. They won't own it. And give me a break. You're seeing it right now. Error 404. They won't own any of it. But this is who they are. This is who they've always been. And if you don't like them, I assure you, you should dislike them more. If you have disdain for them, you should have more. If you hate them, you should hate them more. They are the enemy of the people, with some exceptions. But we haven't talked about any of those people today. It's very sad. Do better, as the people like to say on the internet. Do better, guys.